everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emily, also known as Emily the Mystic, and I'm really excited, as I always am, every single week to bring you a new Cosmic Connections video where you will get to learn about the energetic frequency of a new starseed group that you perhaps may have heard about, maybe you're curious about, maybe this group is totally new to you. But the purpose of these videos is to bring you clarity and information about who these different groups of beings are galactically, what they represent, what energetic frequencies they carry, so that you can discern for yourself whether you are a starseed being from this particular group that we're talking about today. And of course, just a quick little piece of background information if this is the first video that you are watching in this series. So I am an Akashic Records consultant. So when I do these videos, I open up the energy of the Akashic Records and I call in the beings of the group that we're focusing on for the purpose of this video. So I do all of my channeling using the Akashic Records as my level of discernment, and I receive information from these beings by asking them different questions so that I can get to know them better, so that you can get to know them better, and so that hopefully you can learn a new galactic perspective about who these beings are and what they represent. And I really want you to tune into your body as you're listening to this video. What feelings and sensations do you feel? The more you notice your body responding, the more that means this video is your truth, meaning that you may be a being from the group that I'm interviewing today. This information may be very near and dear to your soul's heart. So just really tune into that for you and see whether or not the information from this video resonates for you on a personal level. So without further ado, we are bringing forward the beings of Alpha Centauri today. I have been wanting to interview these beings for a while because I have kind of seen the name of their group, of their star system out there on the internet, and have just been curious about it, especially because the Alpha Centauri star system is where a lot of very famous sci-fi movies, TV shows, books, etc. were filmed or written about in literally this star system, because it is, I believe, the closest star system to us here on planet Earth, the closest constellation. So it's very close to, here on planet Earth. And so it's very interesting because when I'm going to bring forward these beings in a moment and share some information with you about them, they are very human-like in a lot of ways. And so I'm really excited for you to get to know them. And I really hope that this video will give you a new sense of clarity on how these beings are here to help planet Earth, and how that may be a part of your role too if you are also from the Alpha Centauri star system yourself. So for each of these galactic groups, I've been giving you a color and a zodiac sign for you to lean into and understand the energy behind them a little bit better. Sometimes I feel like that visually helps us understand the information. So the colors that I'm really seeing for the Alpha Centauri beings are red and gold. And the zodiac sign that's coming through pretty strongly is Capricorn. So I think you will that will make a lot more sense as we kind of talk about them today. And when the Alpha Centauri beings come through, they're very human-like in the way that they appear. They have very golden hair, and they come through both in masculine and feminine form, meaning that there are beings of different genders that are coming through, but again, they really represent all sides of that gender spectrum. And they all have, again, very long hair, very golden hair, and they have shorter faces. So some of us here on planet Earth have like longer, more oval-like faces. The beings that are coming through to me today have like a shorter face. They've got almost like an elfin look to their ears. They've got very bright, clear eyes. They're smiling. They've got clear skin. They're coming through in a pretty jubilant, pretty joyful energy. And they're also not wearing a lot of clothing, which I think is interesting, because some beings come through in robes or like, more fancy clothing, but they're very simple in their appearance and how they dress, how they carry themselves, which I think will also really help to make more sense. Actually, wait, I have a question for them. Okay, so when I channeled them, they actually shared with me some interesting galactic history that I was not aware of before. And so I took some notes. I did this channeling through automatic writing, which means that I was typing the information that I was hearing in my mind. So I am actually going to read to you what came through from the galactic history perspective. I was asking them if they would rather me read it or me give my own interpretation of it, but they want me to read it. So we're going to do that now. So thank you for being patient with this, because this video is a little bit different than some of the other ones that I filmed before. So the Alpha Centauri beings want you to know that they are very wise, very loyal, and very dependable beings. They never fear change or transition because they know that everything is happening multidimensionally in the power of now. So that just means that they recognize that all timelines are happening basically on top of each other. They're all happening simultaneously because we live in a world of quantum reality, right? So past lives are happening at the same time as this present reality. It's happening at the same time as future realities. And they want you to know that they are aware that us here on Earth are undergoing a great time of change and transformation. And they know that this may be overwhelming for many of us. They wanted me to tell you, know that we see you, we applaud you for being on Earth at this time, and we want to help you with your struggle. You see, as beings from Alpha Centauri, we know what it means to be from a star system that is so polarizing. Okay, and then here's a piece, separate piece that I need to share with you. When I started connecting with these beings, I was kind of surprised because I felt more of a malevolent energy coming through. So more of a negative energy coming through from these beings, which surprised me. And I was seeing beings that did not look like what I would expect. They kind of were something like out of a horror movie. And I asked them if they were beings of the highest vibration, and they said no. So I sent them away, and I called forward the Alpha Centauri beings of the highest vibration of love, light, and truth, and began to speak with those beings that I'm relaying to you now. So they wanted me to share with you, as you witnessed connecting to us, Emily, meaning when I first tuned into their energy, there are also malevolent beings from our star system as well. So they're both benevolent and malevolent beings from the Alpha Centauri star system. These beings, both groups, have been able to coexist after many millennia of galactic fighting, violence, and tragedy, but it wasn't always this way. Our galactic star system was colonized by negative beings from another planetary system, whose name I was not able to get because it wasn't easily translated into English. And these beings aim to use our resources for their well-being. However, this brought about challenging times for our people, and we were forced to rethink our entire colonization system and our society's infrastructure. We eventually fought back, but not without repercussion. It has taken us many years to get to a place where light and dark can coexist simultaneously. However, many beings in our star system still refuse to coexist with the other and vice versa. Those beings, they're telling me now, a lot of them chose to come to planet Earth as Alpha Centauri starseeds in order to get a different experience and a different perspective of living on a binary planet with very polarizing energies, meaning energies both on the light end of the spectrum and the dark end of the spectrum. So some of you who may resonate with being Alpha Centauri starseeds, you may be here because you're meant to learn the lesson of what it feels like to be in a place that is both light and dark. Maybe you had an experience in your home star system that was traumatizing for you or challenging, or you really struggled to maintain the peace or to coexist simultaneously with malevolent beings in your own star system. So you came here to planet Earth to learn how to do that in a different way and to take what you learned back to your home star system to be able to implement those changes that you have learned about into how you live in Alpha Centauri. I think is so fascinating. All right, and they said next that in order to help to peacefully coexist with these malevolent beings, we had great leaders from both sides who were able to step up and help us dream new ways of being and new systems into action here, creating new technologies and systems for sharing resources. So the next piece that's coming through that I feel really called to share is we talk a lot about light versus dark in the spiritual community and how the light will always win over the dark and all of this stuff. And yes, that is true to an extent. However, what the Alpha Centauri beings are here to teach us is the fact that light is not good, bad is not bad, and vice versa. We as human beings tend to think of those ends of the energy spectrum as being a hierarchy, one thing being good, one thing being bad, or vice versa, depending on your viewpoint. And the beings of Alpha Centauri, what they have learned from learning how to maintain an energy of peace with coexisting with each other, they have really learned that both sides of the spectrum are important. They're equal. They are equally needed, equally necessary in order for us to really understand the full spectrum of energetic frequency in our universe. They are saying that both ends, the light and the dark, are equally important in helping us to understand and have a higher perspective and viewpoint on life in general. Both parts, both sides of the coin are part of the same coin. And they have really been able to integrate that and to be able to somehow peacefully coexist and live amongst each other. They said it's not without conflict. There is still conflict. There is still struggle. There are still occasionally wars. However, they are able to move past, for the most part, a lot of these conflicts and challenges in order to be able to live a relatively, what they're saying, normal existence, coexisting between each other, which I think is like so interesting and so fascinating. And they also want me to remind you that they're not healed perfectly. They're not, they haven't discovered everything. They don't know more than we do, but they have been able to learn and understand how to live life in a different way and how to integrate societal structures and systems and technologies in a different way that really help, that help both sides to benefit, and that both sides have also realized the importance of each other and the importance of embodying both those light and those dark frequencies within each individual being and doing the healing that has helped them to really understand and come to a place where they can feel confident embodying both the light and the dark. And both sides, you may end up discovering it's not one or the other. Again, there's no hierarchy, but that you have energetic frequencies of both, that they have those, and that they are able to understand that in Alpha Centauri, and that here on our planet, we have that too. We represent all energies, all emotions on the human spectrum of being. And some of those heavier energies, those darker energies, may be living on our shadow, and we're not really aware of them. We're not taking a look at them. We're pushing them away. We're considering them to be unhelpful or even negative towards our spiritual growth and our ascension process. But discovering our darker side may be part of what we're here to do on this planet. And so the Alpha Centauri beings want to help us get to know those sides of ourselves better and understand how we can integrate both, and we can become even more authentically ourselves by doing that. And that you can find a new way of being and a new way of living. And of course, this doesn't mean that this gives you permission to go out there and do all of the dark, things and activities that are living in your subconscious mind, or hurt other people, or be mean to other people, or judge other people. It doesn't mean that. It just means getting to the root of why you feel there's a part of you that wants to do those things, or why those have always been living at the back of your subconscious mind. Realizing that, doing the healing around that, and then integrating those parts of yourself so that you don't have to take action on those things, because you shouldn't, take action on some of those negative and, negative inclinations, but that you're going to feel more healed and whole as a result of doing this work. Okay, so the other thing about the Alpha Centauri beings is that they're very pragmatic and they're very practical. They love to come up with creative solutions and efficient solutions to new and arising problems. And they said, quote, "We are also great at seeing and understanding both the light and the dark, the light and the shadow within our society, being able to peacefully coexist with both, but it has taken a lot of time, effort, resources, and communication to help us get here." So know that it is on an ongoing process. The beings of Alpha Centauri, they're saying we don't have it all figured out, but we have a lot of experience under our belt and feel really called to help our human, they're calling us sisters, to help our human co-collaborators with their own path here on planet Earth as well. So here's how to know if you are an Alpha Centauri starseed. Number one, if any of this history is sounding familiar to you, you feel it resonating in your body, you're like, I feel like I've lived this before, I'm a little bit triggered or traumatized by this, I know I've been there, I know I've experienced some of those galactic wars. By the way, there have been a lot of galactic wars in our galaxy and in the universe as well. However, the ones that I'm speaking about today may be particularly triggering for you. Again, if you have been through them, lived through them, etc., etc. But some other ways to know if you are an Alpha Centauri starseed, their values include fierce loyalty. They're always going to be loyal to their friends, family members, members of their community. From what I'm able to gather from them, they have a very unusual way of living in that they live in these sort of community-like structures where they have leaders who represent everybody who is under a specific belief system, and that people live in communities according to their specific belief systems. And that's why they are able to peacefully coexist, I guess, is because you live in a community based on your belief system. However, all belief systems are equally recognized and honored. And yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but very interesting. Some of their other values include strength and being good in crisis. So you may be an Alpha Centauri starseed if you are the go-to person for challenge, if you're always the shoulder to cry on, if you're the person who is really good at stepping in emergency situations. You may even be somebody who works in emergencies, such as being a nurse, being an EMT, a police person, somebody who really steps in to help others during times of crisis, during times of need. Alpha Centauri starseeds are really good at being the strong person in a family unit, or really being fierce in their support and loyalty for other family members if they're going through a crisis, if they're going through a tough time, if they're really struggling with health issues or challenges or a death in the family. The Alpha Centauri starseed is going to be the one that you can always count on to help you to kind of navigate that, and to have somebody to go to if you are going through a crisis situation or a difficult time. The Alpha Centauri beings and starseeds really communicate through acts of service. So your Alpha Centauri starseed friend may not be the most verbal in terms of their communication, but they're going to tell you how they feel based on what they do for you. They are action-oriented beings, they're hard workers, they really take care of other people through, again, those acts of service, whether that be cooking a meal or doing the laundry or taking out the trash. They're really good at doing the physical stuff, the physical labor. So an Alpha Centauri starseed, you may be a laborer, or you may be really kinesthetic and connected to your physical body, or you may have some sort of job or career that puts you physically in the line of service or action in order to help other people. Again, you are really connected to your physical body. That's a really big one for Alpha Centauri starseeds. And you're really good at helping others physically through physical acts. Alpha Centauri starseeds are also very protective. So the way that their energy comes through, it's more divinely masculine than divinely feminine. They're really great at holding space for other people. They may not have the best words to say, but they are that shoulder to cry on when you just need somebody to protect you and hold space for you and energetically send you love and just be there in your corner when you're going through a tough time. Alpha Centauri starseeds are very down to earth. So they are going to be more connected here to planet Earth than other starseeds who, like for example, the Pleiadians or the Arcturians, who may be a little bit more connected to the cosmic and galactic realms. Alpha Centauri starseeds are going to be really connected to the physical systems and structures here on planet Earth and are going to really understand more from a physical systems and infrastructure perspective, government perspective, what's going on here on planet Earth and what can we do to shift things and to make things better. So they're saying you might find a lot of Alpha Centauri starseeds also in government because they are so practical. They are really good at coming up with creative solutions to complicated problems, especially from a societal infrastructure perspective. And they may be really good at organizing other people in order to help them get their point across, in order to create change. At least that's their intention, right? Even if our governmental structures are not always the most aligned with actually getting things done, the Alpha Centauri starseeds in government have really high ideals in mind for what they want to do. They have really great, step-by-step ideas of what they want to enact. They may or not be able to get those things done because of how our government is, but their intentions are good, right? So I think that's really interesting too. They are also really great at navigating change. So like I was saying with the Alpha Centauri starseeds are really awesome at navigating crisis. They are really good at navigating when life changes, when they have to move across the country or they have to all of a sudden pack up their apartment because their landlord is changing the lease and they have to find a new place in 2 weeks. Or the Alpha Centauri starseeds are really good at navigating weather issues. Maybe you have been through a hurricane or some other major weather issue. The Alpha Centauri starseeds are really great at bouncing back from that and taking the action steps to heal and to rebuild from whatever that thing was that happened. Now, the one thing that Alpha Centauri starseeds need to remember is that because they are so practically oriented, because they're so good at helping other people, they're really great at getting things done, being hardworking, and showing their love through acts of service, it can be really hard for them to focus on themselves, to give back to themselves, to set boundaries with other people, to say no to maybe helping out when it doesn't feel so aligned because they just naturally want to be able to help everybody. So Alpha Centauri starseeds, your message today is to really, well, first of all, it's important for you to heal both sides of who you are, the light and the dark, healing your shadows, taking a look, doing the shadow work, doing the deep dive, because again, that's part of what your starseed overall mission is. And from there, also taking a look at doing the healing around whether or not you're assigning your self-worth to the work that you do, and whether or not you believe yourself to be worthy based on your efforts for other people. What you give to other people, what you do for others, being that space holder, being that service provider, being that hardworking, secure part of your family unit, you may need to decide whether or not that's your role because that's who you are, or if you're doing those things because you're sourcing your worthiness from those actions. So there may be some healing for you to do around there. And with that, again, once you've done that healing, you're going to be able to help other people do things from a place of heart-centeredness instead of from a place of, I have to do this, or I need to help this person with this thing, or if I don't help them, who will, and all of that stuff. It's going to be on your terms, and you're going to feel more empowered to help other people, knowing that you're filling your cup up first, you're filling your well, you're able to come to a place of peace and stillness and healing within yourself so that you can then help other people from there. So yay, that was a lot packed into that video. I hope you found that information to be very interesting and intriguing. I sure did. I would love to hear your insights, so make sure you comment those below. Let me know if you feel like you are a being from Alpha Centauri. I would love to hear from you. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and yay, stay tuned for the next video when I will be interviewing another starseed group. So, sending you so much love. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are in the world, and we will chat soon.